Hey guys, and welcome back to the Blue Podcast. This is TheRedShow. You join with me, Henry Slabhead Maguire, along with the helicopter and Lloyd, the mastermind. How are we doing, boys?
Decent, not
We're
bad.
bringing nicknames into this
No,
now.
no, let that be a pub show thing. That's not our thing.
Yeah, no.
We're bringing it in.
We'll leave it to the side.
We need to find a good one for him, but you've got an incredible nickname.
Nah, we leave that for pub show. This ain't for this.
Nah, the mastermind is a bit much.
This is where the grown-ups sit.
Don't like
right?
to think of myself like that.
Says the guy who doesn't want to talk about any kind of historical football and gets upset when I bring up historical football.
Yeah, 'cause that's your time, isn't it? there's adult, then there's ancient.
Wow.
For God's sake. All right, in today's episode, we're going to talk about a little bit about FFP. Because recently we've got a couple of charges that have come through and there's been some discussion about what's been going on. So we're just going to run through it quickly and then talk about kind of our opinions as to what's going on. So, first of all, just a kind of a very brief breakdown of what FFP actually means. So, it's UEFA's financial fair play regulations. It's how they regulate how clubs are being financed and stuff like that. FFP are a set of regulations established to prevent professional football clubs spending more than they earn in the pursuit of success, and in doing so not getting into financial problems which might threaten their long-term survival. So basically the clubs can't be in debt. That's the main thing.
So basically, just don't be shit with your money.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Yeah. But a lot of clubs, the thing is, right, it doesn't count certain types of funding. So you could pump 100 million into the club, but it might not count towards this, and therefore the club is still kind of screwed, which is where the issues are coming with a certain Manchester-based club and to why they're in trouble, because what they've been using to fund the club might not have been allowed. You might not be allowed to pump that money in a certain way.
Drug money.
But let's start.
Sorry.
I mean, we'll get on to what Manchester City's been charged with in a second. But first of all,
speaking of drug money, fuck it, a club near me back in Sussex. I don't know who it is exactly, so I'm not going to name names. Cause I value life, you know what I mean. So yeah, club in Sussex got done because apparently like their main source of income was like through drug money.
Wow.
And like then I think someone close to the club died from it, and like yeah, drug money too. That's low level crazy.
Yeah, I did hear about that. To be fair, that is. I mean, I'm not surprised. I reckon there's more clubs that are funded like that because, like, you can make some money.
Well, it's the lower league. Like, they don't have a reliable funding. So they've probably got like the owner of these clubs, right? Your regular like, good old Johns down the road who sell drugs. I'm speaking facts, though. Aren't
I agree. It's funny, but you are speaking facts.
Probably is more.
But let's have a look at some of the clubs in the Premier League who have been naughty with their money as well. So, first of all, Everton have had 6 points removed for one charge. I think it's one charge of FFP.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, something
I
like
believe
that.
so.
They didn't get. So Forest recently got the same thing, but they only got 4 points. They got 2 points removed for mitigating circumstances, which I believe is just their cooperation, and like there are certain circumstances that they tried to stop it from happening. Basically, I think is what. Kind of what happened. I don't know 100% sure on that, but they got 2 points removed from mitigating circumstances, which Everton didn't get. You can't get those points unless you admit to wrongdoing. So both those clubs went to UEFA and said, we've screwed up here, rather than UEFA finding out and then denying.
So it took the guilty plea. Pretty much.
Yeah,
it took the guilty plea.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they only got 6 and 4 points.
Well, Everton originally got 10.
And they got it reduced. Was it the Court of Arbitration for Sport that did that?
You're asking the wrong person.
Or I don't know if they appealed from it. They appealed it somehow. And I think Forest are doing the same. They're going to appeal it and hopefully get it taken down. But I mean, the main topic of conversation is, why are these clubs been charged, and Manchester City, why have they not been charged?
Can I just give my let's be honest, I know fuck all about this, right? I'm not the person to go to when you talk about this.
Yeah.
But for my very very limited understanding, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be an expert.
Yeah.
Everton's couple of charges, Forest's couple of charges, is a lot easier and a better for time management to go through than Man City's 115. That's my original thought. I don't know about that, but that's my original thought. Like, it's going to take a lot longer to get through Man City's than it is to get through Everton's or Forest's.
Yeah.
But another thing I will say, if you're going to deduct points, deduct it for the season after, so it doesn't affect this season. You should always do it for the season after. So
that's not a bad rule.
So that means like teams like Luton. So like apparently Forest might get their points back at the end of the season if things go well. That's what I've heard. But like that they'll get the points back at the end of the season. So once if Luton celebrate by surviving by 1 point, then Forest get their points back.
Yeah.
So I think any like shit that happens from this, the punishment should be next season onwards. And like Leicester, if Leicester get promoted, too bad they look like a botlet anyway. But if Leicester get promoted to the Premier League, apparently they get a points deduction as soon as they get back up. But as long as they stay in the Championship, they don't get the points deduction. So that's
wait until they're back in the Prem. I mean, to be fair, they are bottling it because they were only 3 points ahead of Ipswich right now.
when they like 15, 17 points clear at one point.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, it was a big gap.
Bottled it.
Big gap.
Ipswich are right behind, and Leeds are right behind them. It's looking very tight as a run. It actually looks quite interesting. We do a show about it actually because I think it would be cool to talk about. I think in part you're right about the fact that it's going to take longer to go through 115 charges, but the actual reason, the reason why we haven't heard anything about Manchester City yet is because Manchester City are denying it, and the other teams aren't. So the problem is they've got to then do this process because they've denied it to prove that they've done it, rather than these guys have gone, have you done this? They've gone, yeah, okay, right, cool, here's your punishment, done.
But to be fair, if you're a club as powerful as Man City and like got as much links as Man City, like I think they would if they're going to deny it. Who are the Premier League to say, oh, maybe you have done it? Because I think Man City are like they're bringing in way more fans. I think recently anyway, they're bringing in more fans. I think to the Premier League, they're bringing more eyes to the Premier League, definitely.
Yeah, I mean to give you a bit brief down of what's happened. City's charges include accusations of failing to disclose accurate financial information, in particular with respect to its revenue, including sponsorship revenue, its related parties and its operating costs, and not fully providing managerial sacking details about the 4-year period that saw Roberto Mancini as the manager. They have also been charged with breaking UEFA's financial fair play rules as well as the Premier League's PSR. A final layer of litigation comes from the Premier League's claims that City did not cooperate fully with investigations in the utmost good faith. So basically they're hiding things.
Yeah.
And the rumour is that they've inflated certain sponsorship fees and they haven't earned as much as possible. That money hasn't come from sponsors, it's come from the Sheikh himself, where they've inflated the fees to make it look like these sponsors have paid more. And you know what's even worse? These sponsors are owned by the people who own Man City, which shouldn't be allowed anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
This makes me think of the mafia. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's all corruption.
It's a big mess.
It's giving mafia vibes. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not.
Yeah.
See, Man City is such a small club, you know, that it needs to inflate its fees to finance this stuff. If you Man United, you just make this money anyway. You can spend it. Like,
no comment.
that's all I'm saying. But yeah, it's annoying for people like us when we kind of want to see a resolution here to this whole mess, so we can get our titles back off them, and Arsenal can, and Liverpool can, and we can move on and let them go back to League Two.
But if they do get caught and like they take away all their things, like surely that just makes not more of a problem, but like surely it just makes things more complicated if they take away the titles. Because like say Inter last season, if Man City gets stripped of that, Inter's gonna be like what now? Do we get the title?
Yes.
And if they do get the title, that's a bit of a shit way to win it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe they should, personally, because they do it with Olympians, don't they? They give back the records to the people before.
Yeah, but then that's just obviously like I think that's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're the team who's like won it, then like Inter, isn't that a bit of a shit way to win it?
Yeah.
It is, but I feel like it's deserved. Personally, I know it is, and it's not going to make much difference to them now. It's already done, but I think it's deserved because, of course, they were cheating. They were financially doping themselves, which, like, if you think about
financially doping.
No, genuine. Well, that's what they're inflating fees. They're adding things to the body to make themselves better.
Financial steroids.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
They're on the roids.
I mean, even like 10 years ago, of course, when Gerrard slipped and we finished second that year, it's like just if we got the title now, like as you said,
exactly. It's so long ago.
I'd be like,
Gerrard would be a Premier League winner.
yeah, he would be a Premier League winner, but it'd be like,
And do we
but
want
then you'd
that?
have like that asterisk next to it, like.
Exactly. You've already got an
That's
asterisk
it.
next to your Premier League title. You don't want another one. Exactly.
Exactly, because people say, oh, you know what? It's COVID season, even though we're like 20 points.
Asterisk FC. That's what it is.
But like, no, I mean, I get it. It's just it's not the same thing, is it? Like, if you win it in the moment, it's absolutely amazing. But like,
And also, what happens to Man City itself? Like, if it goes back to League Two, that's a lot of money lost for the Premier League.
But other teams would make that up.
Would they
Because let's
though?
be
Would
honest,
they?
Let's be honest. Most of other than a couple of examples, most of Manchester City's fans are all corporate people.
yeah,
They don't actually care about football or the club. Manchester City don't have fans. It's the empty had for a reason. all the glory hunters would probably end up coming back to us, which I don't really want, but
Yeah.
screw it. And the rest of them just wouldn't care about football anymore. And I don't think you see one less team in the European competitions doing really well, but I think Arsenal would have a good period. I think Liverpool would have a good period following the rebuild. I think we would end up going back to a much better place. Just because we haven't got Manchester City, you've got these historical, amazing clubs competing with the likes of Real Madrid in Europe. It's fine. I'd much rather see Arsenal or Man United v Real Madrid rather than seeing Manchester City v Real Madrid as a fixture.
No,
I'd much rather.
I just think the thing is, when it comes to it all, it's like you look at it, and if it was just any club, like if they were guilty of the charges, if it was any team, you just want to see them punished.
Exactly.
Well, where does Chelsea come into this as well?
Yeah, which is
But Chelsea
interesting.
haven't been charged
Isn't that
with
more of a
anything.
sticky situation as well?
Yeah, I mean Newcastle have pumped a lot of money in as well over the past.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They have.
I'm not knowledgeable about this, so I have no idea. So
They
I'm
have,
genuinely
But
asking.
no
like,
charges have been brought
No,
against them. And also
exactly.
Newcastle has pumped that money in. They can't use it because they used it last year, and now they can't afford to get anybody in.
Yeah, so they
without
have to sell
selling.
now. They have to sell now.
Which
yeah.
is how it. I'm happy for that to be the reason to do it.
Yeah.
But you have to make it for everybody, and that means Manchester City broke the rules.
all right, so hypothetically, say Man City get the punishment and like it's all moved on now, like everything's sorted. What laws would you enforce hypothetically to make sure everyone stays? Like, would you do a transfer cap, or try a designated transfer budget, or a salary cap? Like, what would be your boys' solution? Because I have no idea.
I've seen a salary cap not ruin rugby, but like it's negatively impacted the rugby league. Like 3 clubs have gone bust. They need investment. They're redoing the whole second division in rugby, and a lot of the best players are going to France, and they can't then play for England. And that's like a massive thing for the international rugby is way bigger than national rugby, if that makes sense. So I've seen what a salary cap can do negatively.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's the solution. But I also don't think FFP is a solution either, because like it kind of screws over clubs that are in actual debt, like Reading, for example.
Yeah.
They get points deductions rather than trying to remove the owner. The club gets punished
Yeah.
rather than the owner.
Yeah, they punish the fans.
I think sponsorship needs to be a thing. I think you need to say you can't sponsor someone who's got any kind of link to the owner. Like the company can't have any links to the current ownership of the club. They can't even be any kind of tenuous links. You can't own any of the other companies.
So sponsorship only. No like.
I wouldn't set a salary cap. I wouldn't set a transfer cap because the other leagues aren't going to set that.
Or
No, that's the thing, isn't it?
The other leagues
I
are
think if there
never
was a
gonna do
salary,
that.
if salary cap was a rule all across Europe, then I think it could have actually potentially benefited.
Yeah, agreed.
But
then
if it's just
what would the
Premier
cap?
League-
What would the cap be?
I don't know. Like you could just you'd set a number and it'd be like obviously, but
Who's the
if
highest?
it was-
Who's the highest paid player in the Premier League right now? Is it Salah?
I'd assume De Bruyne.
Salah's on 350. I think it is De Bruyne.
I'd assume De Bruyne.
Who's the
400, 450
highest?
maybe. That's what I assume.
Yeah, I think he's on 400,000.
Okay, but either way, right? Okay, this is like extremely hypothetical. I know this will never happen. Should teams get in trouble in general for anything financial? Whether it's pumping money in, whether it's not having enough money,
Not having enough money is not a
should
thing.
teams get punished? Well, for using money unwisely, then should teams get punished in general for that? Because
Well, at the end of the day, it's your money. You spend it how you like,
Yeah.
but you can't have more money than you're supposed to have. Like if you
yeah, but how do you control that?
like FFP, but like again, I don't know. Like I'm all we're talking about here is like what's happening and what we think should happen. Like
yeah.
we're not financial experts. We're not. They can't fix this problem. We're not going to be able to fix this problem.
We should have got a guest for this. I guess like a football lawyer would have been nice to talk to.
Yeah, probably.
Get a lawyer on. Yeah, like-
Maybe we could do that in the future. We'll bring a lawyer on. We bring
just talk about yeah. I mean, you just look at obviously with financial fair play and like certain teams. Like I think it's good that it is there that clubs are just not allowed to spend as much as they want, because if
Yeah.
you end up looking at like I think it is like in Formula One. Is there a cap on how much you can spend on a car, because they're not all.
There's
like,
I'm more
there
of a
is
Mario
salary
Kart
cap,
fan,
salary
I don't
cap
know.
on
and
that.
you get punished quite badly if you go over. I think Red
Yeah.
Bull went over it because they paid catering too much or something like that
Right.
last year.
Sorry,
And they got deducted points for that.
Yeah.
In the constructors,
Jesus.
genuinely.
Isn't that a bit too much at that point?
And you can get disqualified from entire like seasons
Yeah.
if you overdo it too much.
But can they spend as much money on the vehicle that they build?
Yeah, that's the vehicle is the one that you can
Yeah.
pay. You can pay the driver. whatever
Yeah.
you
See.
want.
Yeah. It's like. because obviously Verstappen, he wins he's winning everything.
He wins
isn't
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, he wins absolutely everything.
But Red
It's not
Bull have
you
done
wanna
that within the salary
Yeah,
cap.
it's not that you
So-
want to get to the point, like in football, where you can say, oh, this team could just spend as much money as they want, and you can spend as much money as you want, but you've got like 5 times less money, despite being like a similar level club. Like, I wouldn't want to get to that stage where they just
You want it to be
splash
competitive.
cash and yeah,
The rules have got to be fair. I don't care what the rules are, but they've got to be fair.
yeah.
So if Manchester City shouldn't have spent it in this period and no one else did,
Yeah, but
then
isn't
you've got to punish them.
but if we're talking about this and moaning about how shit the rules are, shouldn't we at least come up with a solution?
This
Yeah.
is probably true.
or at least put up, at least like suggest
Yeah.
like any
Salary caps aren't going
direction?
to work.
No.
Transfer caps aren't going to work because the league will get left behind. It's just,
Well, maybe it doesn't have to be just for the league. It could
I
be
think
for
sponsorship is the
Europe.
biggest thing, right? That's the issue I have with Man City is the fact they're inflating sponsors and using oil money
Yeah,
to do it. Like that's the issue I have. That's it.
yeah.
That's
And
the
then
only that's probably the only problem I have actually.
yeah, and then there's
Really?
the multi-club ownership thing. Obviously,
I
that's
don't
Yeah,
have a problem with
that's
that.
No, to be
a
fair,
big thing.
I don't mind that because
No, I
like
don't
it
mind.
helps younger
It
players
does
as well.
help younger players. It does help younger players. It's just like
But it does make transfers
City,
dodgy.
City bought Savio for 40
Exactly.
million. Like,
That's
he's
that's
worth
the
more than
only
40 million.
yeah exactly. That's the only problem. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think you can be run by the same person. I think the CEO, board of directors, director of football, all that kind of stuff. They all these positions have to be singular for each
Yeah.
of the clubs. You can own the clubs and have a network because at the end of the day, to have a relationship with the club, like for example, Man United could have a relationship with Chelsea with Vitesse,
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
owned by the same people,
But they just send players.
but they've got a connection. They send
they're
notes.
affiliates. They're
They're
affiliates.
affiliates.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can be affiliates with a club that you owned by the same person, but you can't be run by the same people.
Yeah. I mean,
You have to then agree a transfer fee with them.
that's a big reason why Michael Edwards is coming back to Liverpool, because FSG want to have a multi-club model. They want to buy a second football club.
But
so,
if Michael Edwards runs all of them, he can't be involved in transfers.
No.
for,
I think that's when it
he's
gets
just
dodgy
looking-
a bit. Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
looking to find another football club, I think, and then he'll appoint someone else, because we're getting. I can't remember the Bournemouth guy's name, but we're getting someone from Bournemouth who's
Oh
like a director.
yeah, I agree. I've
But,
heard of this. Yeah,
But yeah, he's joining as well. But yeah, I think a lot of clubs are just looking for that.
just to give you.
They're seeing how good it works.
Yeah, I think it's the future. I think because we've got Nice and United.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
City,
yeah.
City Group is the biggest in the world. But
Yeah, there's so many.
just to give you some
Teams.
background, in 2021-22, Cristiano Ronaldo was the highest paid player in the Premier League with 480,000. But since he's left, it's now gone back down to 400,000 with Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Salah's not there.
I think Salah will be close by.
Yeah,
He'll
Salah's
be
not far
tailing
away.
him.
He'll be
I
in
think
the
he's
300,000.
Same with Van Dijk.
Yeah.
I think Van Dijk will be tailing him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big difference between Van Dijk. It's like 130,000, I think it is, between the two.
Defenders don't tend to get
Yeah.
paid as much, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think it was just because you just wanted him that
Complaining
desperately to stay.
Mm.
Just complaining about 300 grand a week, like, I only get paid 130 grand a week.
Well,
Yeah,
that's another.
I know,
I mean, that's
yeah.
a whole different problem in itself.
That's a
Yeah,
whole
exactly.
different
I mean,
But the
that's
thing
a
is,
joke,
right,
isn't it? Imagine being on
the
that money.
reason why this happens is because the clubs can afford to do that. If
Yeah.
football wasn't as popular and didn't make as much money as it did, they wouldn't get paid this
No,
much.
of course
Well,
not.
I got told. Did you know that all Premier League clubs make profit just from broadcasting alone? Broadcasting alone, Premier League clubs all make profit
Yeah.
straight away.
It's not the Premier League's fault that it generates that much money.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course not. No.
It's the club's decision to spend how they like. That's why I don't agree with a salary cap, because
Yeah.
you can spend what you want. If you spend stupidly and you go under, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly. So, I mean, that brings into a whole other thing about ownership and like looking at Reading Football Club as well.
But to be fair,
specifically,
I think us three will have a very different opinions on other fans because let's
Yeah.
be honest, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal,
Well,
we are like very. I know you guys had financial troubles. I remember that,
yeah.
but like as of right now, we are in a very like spoiled
Oh, of course
club.
we
Like
are,
very
yeah.
like our clubs are all very privileged
Yeah.
what we got. So I mean, like, say like a Reading fan or like Bury and Macclesfield, their
Yeah.
fans, they'll have a completely
Yeah.
different
Yeah,
opinion
of
to
course,
us, but-
yeah.
100%. Like that's the worst, and that's where FFP is being applied the worst. Like we all complain about Man City and we want them to go down. We do, but the way Reading is being handled. Let's do Reading specifically because that one could be safe.
yeah, sold their training ground to Wickham.
It's
Yeah.
actually on hold at the moment. The
it's on
the
hold.
Wickham owner has put it on hold,
Mm.
which are if that's true and he has stopped it, respect for you because
Yeah.
that's a dodgy deal that the Reading owner wants to do.
Playing devil's advocate, I don't agree with this, but playing devil's advocate, you're getting a brand new like good facilities on the cheap. Like
Yeah.
It's a good deal, but it's also ripping off another club
No,
because
yeah,
of
that's the
the
thing.
owner.
And I don't think it's the first time Wickham have done. I can't.
Oh, is it
remember.
not?
They've
Oh, is it
done- I
not?
think
Have
they've
they
done it
done it?
another
Oh.
You're,
time
you're,
to another club
you're
who was
thinking of.
struggling.
I think you're thinking of Milton Keynes, if I'm honest,
Yeah.
mate. But,
I might be thinking of Milton.
Yeah, well, MK Dons with Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a
I
whole.
mean, as someone who lives quite near to Milton Keynes and been to Milton Keynes games before, like, yeah, it's a bit shit what happened with that one. They shouldn't have taken. They should have made their own club and done it their way. But
Oh, do you guys know Away Days?
Yeah.
Ellis
Vaguely,
Patton,
yeah.
Away Days. I watched a video of his recently about MK Dons, about one of the most hated clubs in the world, and he interviewed a couple of MK Dons fans, and they said that, oh, I don't know why all the Wimbledon fans are mad, which I don't agree with, by the way, but
yeah,
but we gave all of Wimbledon staff a new job, higher wages, or like then their new fans are staying at art facilities and stuff like that. So there is a side to be seen about, like, you know, a new thing, but it's the whole relocation, name change.
It made the club
Yeah.
better, but it's not the same club.
Yeah, of course.
You bought your way into the league. It's like buying a franchise in America.
Oh
You
no,
just
of course
buy
it's
your way
fucked up.
in.
It's definitely fucked up. Like
It is.
it's a really shit thing to
Well,
do.
look what Salford did. They just made a club and they went up through the divisions. That's how you do it. I have no problem with someone trying to make it to the top, but you've got to do it properly. You've got to go to the FA and they've got to put you in at the bottom and you build your way up to the top. That's the way to do
Yeah.
it. You can't just buy a club, move it, change its name, change its badge. Like, that's history there. That's their
Yeah.
club.
Yeah.
Their club has already made it that far. So yeah,
that's
it's a
the
bit,
thing.
it's a bit crap.
That's
But
the thing with it. It's like just when clubs rebrand themselves and then like
yeah,
it's like I think did Leipzig end up doing that? I
yes,
think
Leipzig did.
Well,
that.
they're very
yeah,
hated. So did Bayer
Red Bull,
Leverkusen.
Yeah, and now they've
But I don't think Leverkusen changed the name, did they?
No, they're owned by a pharmaceuticals
I
company.
don't care if you're owned by a company. That's not, and you put the company.
But in Germany, it's a very
They hate it. I'm not too fussed. It's when they move it out away from the fans and they take it away from the fans.
yeah.
Leipzig is still in Leipzig, and they've added Red Bull to it, but like there's not
Yeah.
that much of a difference. And the fans get to experience like Bundesliga football, Champions League football. Like,
Yeah.
it made the experience better for the fans. So overall, I think it's probably better in that specific scenario. But
Yeah.
let's go back to Reading there, because you're right. That is the worst it could be currently.
Oh, 100%.
And I don't think us three can like speak on it with too much emotion, because like obviously we
I
have
mean,
no ties to them, do we? So.
I lived in Oxford for a while, so I know I'm quite close to Reading, and I am good friends with the head of recruitment for the academy at Reading Football Club.
Yeah.
We know each other quite well, and he tells me all about it. So like, I can't say much because of course confidentiality and all that. But like, all I'll say is like, he is currently a one-man department, and he's working 60 hours a week on his own, and he doesn't know if he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's the worst of it. Pay your staff. If you can't afford to pay your staff, then you shouldn't be paying players that much.
You should be like.
And let's be honest, right? This owner of Reading is criminal. It's criminal what he's doing. He's trying to run it into the ground. on purpose.
Doesn't he have a reputation for running down clubs? Because I remember, like, I don't know if this is the right person. I don't know if this is like.
I don't.
But
know
I think
that for
like
sure.
a family member of his tried to buy a club in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But they rejected it because like the reputation they have for taking clubs down. So apparently, like the family in general of the owner, it has like a really bad reputation.
It's not good.
But I think at that point, when you're Reading, I think you're desperate to get rid of the club and like you need to rebuild.
Yeah.
Like they'll just sell to anyone now.
It's criminal what he's doing. And if the Premier League can step in when a friend of an owner starts attacking a country and take the club, Chelsea, away from that person and force him to sell it, take control of it, sell it, and then give it. And I don't think they even gave him the money there. They just took it away from him. You can't step in now when the club's at risk.
Yeah.
Just because your reputation was at risk with Chelsea, like your reputation for supporting Russia in that scenario was at risk. You took the club away from that owner, who was well loved and well respected and did a good job running that club, despite what his support is and what Russia was doing. But you can't step in now
And help. Yeah.
is to help Reading
Yeah. No.
and take the
honestly,
club away from the owner and make it someone else take over it. You can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
It just seems a bit weird. Like the FA need to have rules and a punishment and a way of them stepping in certain situations when it gets really shit.
But yeah,
take
end
it
of the day, they're not just ruining the club; they're ruining people's livelihoods. Like they're taking away people's jobs and shit.
Like-
It's like
Yeah.
Like the environment of Reading, like Reading's a bit of a shithole personally, but like that's like people go to Reading for the games and stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
what's the word when someone visits somewhere like that?
What do you mean? What, tourism?
Yeah, that's
You
that.
didn't know the word tourism.
Sorry, I try and stick away from words that sound like that.
No, yeah.
Taking away tourism, business from the town, like
Yeah.
it's just terrible. So respect to the Wickham owner, and hopefully somebody could step in and fix that situation, and hopefully Reading can be okay, because we don't want to lose him from the league.
Yeah, I just can't imagine working that amount of time and then just not knowing if you're going to be paid or not. I mean,
like I
said, brutal.
I've been told more stuff than that, and it is really brutal. But I don't think I can. I wouldn't want to say anything until unless I spoke to
but I mean that's even because that's happening. That's happened with the players, hasn't it, multiple times where they've not been paid, even the backroom staff, all of that, all just don't get. Not been given the chance.
Also, don't you? I'm asking, by the way. This is not me saying my opinion. I'm asking. But doesn't the FA have some blame in this? Because this has happened so many times now with Macclesfield, Bury, almost Derby. Surely, the FA needs to take some blame here, because they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything about it either. What are they doing to help? They're handing out point deductions,
which hurts the club, not the owner.
And there's no solution either from the FA. So surely there's got to be some eyes look to them.
I think one thing that was discussed was potentially put into place a license system. So when you want to own a club, you apply for a license, and if you screw the pooch, you set conditions of things you're supposed to do. If you screw the pooch, your license gets revoked. The club defaults back to the Premier League. I think.
But then again, at the end of the day, I don't think us three are the most knowledgeable about this, especially with the clubs we support. I mean, your club's the closest one that we could possibly compare it to.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're a lower league fan who's maybe experienced this, maybe you can tell us.
Yeah.
But I think we're just giving our very, very outside opinions. We're by no means trying to offer better.
Yeah. No. Of course. I mean, hopefully Reading can sort itself out. Like I said.
Hopefully, because they are still a big club. I mean,
they're a massive club.
They're the best ever Championship team.
They were close to the Premier League.
No,
they were so close to the Premier League.
They were in the Premier League.
They were in the Premier League, and then they were so close to getting back in,
exactly,
a few years ago.
They lost the final to Huddersfield,
exactly.
And
Huddersfield are now almost back in League One as well.
Exactly. Well, I mean, these are big clubs. Let's be honest. Macclesfield are decent sized clubs. I mean, League
Bury
2.
As well, yeah.
Bury were a big club, but then now it's gone to shit. So as much as it's the owners and shit like that, you also have to look at the FA, Premier League.
The rules need adjusting, but hopefully the solution can be found, especially for Reading, hopefully in time, and then for the future as well, get a solution in. But that brings today's episode to a close. Thank you all very much for watching. Please, if you're a fan of one of the clubs that have been affected, please drop us a comment down below. Let us know how you're feeling. We want to hear from you.
Or if you know, or come on the show as a guest. We would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, potentially. If you've got a good story, come on and we can see if we can talk about it. 100%, we'd like to do that. But for now, that's going to bring that episode to a close. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.